Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another update video for Eve Echoes. Today we're going to be going over the development stream that aired on the 17th of May 2020, where they go over a load of exciting details about what's coming in Eve Echoes and even reveal the release date. Now this video is going to be fairly lengthy. I'm going to keep it as short as possible, not going to rant too much on it. I'm going to cut to the chase on each of the sections. I will include the trailers that they showed as well in as full glory as I can do, but I do hope you bear with me. Join me on this ride. I look forward to reading your comments, your thoughts, your opinions in the comment section down below. This has really got me hyped up for Eve Echoes. Anyway, before we jump in, as usual, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting a like on it. Consider subscribing to the channel for all things Eve Echoes and mobile gaming in general, and let me know what content you'd like to see me cover in future topics, either in the comment section down below or by coming and finding me on the social media channels along the bottom of your screen. Now, yeah, I'm getting much quicker at saying that these days. Anyway, let's jump right in. As I said, I am going to cut through this piece by piece and go through the most important points with you all, so thank you for bearing with me. Let's get going. And welcome to the NetEase streaming studio. On the far left here we have YanJung, who is our host for this stream. Very charismatic, great guy to talk to. I love the scythe that's behind him there and all the artwork around the studio as well, here under the lamp. Next to him on the left-hand side of the sofa there is Exile, who is the senior producer for Eve Echoes. Melos on the right-hand side of the sofa is one of our most vocal game designers, with Lance Dot as one of the head programmers, I think, in the chair on the far right. I love this studio. I love the little ships they've got sprinkled around, especially the Rifter on the central table. I really want the Eve Echoes logo plaque that they have right in the centre of that table, which you might see in just a moment. The artwork's gorgeous, and I really want that 07 salute symbol in the back anyway. Now, I'm not here to obviously talk about how cool the studio is, although, dear Lord, I want to go there. I'm here to obviously talk about the different things that they reveal. We're going to pause at different points and talk about what is mentioned, what is showcased in some of the screenshots and bits of footage that they show. Obviously, though, this is me doing this as usual on a Razer Phone 2. You can see I'm doing this all live as I record it. There is therefore going to be a bit of scrubbing backward and forward, and if I miss a point and have to kind of pause and rewind, do bear with me. I'll try and edit most of it out as I can, but this is kind of tricky to do on a phone. But there we go. That's kind of the thing I make when I decided to do everything on my Razer Phone. Anyway, so the first thing that they really talk about, they do their introductions, talk about who they are, then they talk about this trailer, which I'm going to play, and we're going to pause at different points just to go over what each little bit means. Obviously, CCP loading. Here we have a Tyra flying over what looks to be a station. This is later on revealed to be the player Outpost. This thing here, this is what they mentioned before about the thing that you can deploy in different sectors and use kind of as a base of operations. Really cool, really useful. We don't get all that much information about exactly how that works or what it does yet, but it is kind of there. This is kind of a nice little start to the stream. I will put a full copy of this trailer at the end as well, so that you can sit and watch it here. This is nice to see that we have the jump gates here as well that allow you to travel quickly to special destinations, usually like into anomalies and things like that, like quest areas almost. You know, you'll go off and take one of these gates through. I like that we hear Sovereign RPG here, 7th Rule of Eve. If there's a small ship on your scanner alone at an acceleration gate, it's a trap. Yes, true, remember that, but that's the acceleration gates there. We see a bit more of encounters here, recommended level, recommended types, expedition frigate, yada yada yada. So we're now getting proper mining missions and things that you can see here as well. Looks like we've had a slight change up to the race-based missions. Here you can see obviously a mega clone. Shows you on the right hand side there how long you've got left. The rest of that is pretty much the same as what we saw during the beta. That is a key point there that I need to scroll back a little bit. Oh, no, we're going to talk about that in a moment. We're going to talk about all this in a moment. Let's hit through, pause, and there we are. So this is a big part, Omega clones. Now, we do have a look at Omega clone later on in a bit more detail, but I will talk about it here. Ultimately, you can see here that it's a 30-day subscription service like it is in EVE Online. It comes in two different flavors, basic and standard. Basic appears to be 170 plex. It says 120 here, though, but we'll come back to that later. Later on, I'm sure it shows 170, 120, 170 plex, which is about, I think, $4 or $5. That will give you faster skill training. It adds an additional 5 points on at basic and per minute, and an additional 25 at standard level. So obviously there's two different levels of Omega clone. Standard is 420, I think, and 170, 120 for basic. So you're looking about $4 for the basic, and you're looking about 15 to 16 for the standard by my maths. That unlocks a faster skill training rate, just like it does in EVE Online. It looks like it unlocks all tech levels, all advanced skills, advanced ships, and advanced modules. That's very much standard for what we'd expect from EVE Online. Because of how the tech levels, skills, and ships and all that work, those are gated behind progression anyway. Ultimately, that means that straight out the bat, not everyone's going to need Omega clones right out of the gate. Ultimately, a lot of the stuff that is gated behind Omega is stuff that you won't need until you're significantly further in the game anyway, at which point you can be earning enough ISK to buy Plex, or, you know, just buying it yourself sort of thing. The worry here is that at the bottom of this, we see here unlock industry. This, to me, and Sovereign, myself, and O'Doomsy were talking about this on sort of a stream where we analysed all of this. That is worrying because it just means that if you want to build ships, you might be stuck behind an Omega clone paywall. I don't want to be completely doom and gloom at this point. We don't have full information. Obviously, this is not at final quality. It's not all fully decided. We don't know how much of this is going to make it in and in exactly what state. But right now, it certainly appears that industry is locked behind Omega clones. Now, what that means for the game, I will let you kind of decide going on. It does mean that obviously free-to-play, it looks like industry and shipbuilding is not going to be an option for you. If you want to be making money, you're going to be needing to do things like hauling and mining. But then again, you can go mining in high security, AFK mining and all that kind of thing now. So who knows? Who knows? I'm hoping it's not that industry is completely locked, and it's just that you get additional unlocks, like additional spaces and that for industry if you pay. Like you can make one thing on industry, or you can make 3 things if you've got a mega clone. There is more below that as well that isn't shown, and that menu does scroll down a bit further, but that's all we know at this point. You can see there are some new skins that are being added, some exciting new skins. I do quite like these. Are a little bit angular, but I do quite like the colours that they've gone for here. These are unique. They've mentioned there are unique skins to EVE Echoes that you will not find in EVE Online, which is kind of exciting. I like skins. You can see there, if I scroll back just that brief teeny tiny moment, oh, it's so hard to just get the teeny drop. You can see the cost of starting a... Get ready to pause. There it is. The cost to create a corporation looks to be 200 million ISK to start with. You'll be charged after finishing creating the corporation. You can then have a look at all the different effects. This looks to be a lot, and that's a perfect place to pause actually, because you can see some of the icons and the different colours. You get a full banner that you can make. It looks like we've got more logos, more colour options, and better background options than we had in EVE Online. That's really cool. I can't wait for to do the Catskull Cartel banner. Yes, that is the confirmed name of my of the corporation I will be running, Catskull Cartel. And we've got another ready to pause moment here. There we go. You can see there a brief look at corporations. You can see here that we talk about here. You can put up a message, of course. You choose your names and your shortness for your shorthand, your KSY in this case, for your corporation. You can change your members, you choose your up and down your diplomacy tax rate, all that kind of thing is all there. Now, they do talk later that ultimately corporations start at 50 members, and if you train up your corporation skills to maximum level, that will cap out currently at 200 members. That means, of course, 200 people can be in any one corporation before you start having to band out into alliances. Catskull Cartel will, of course, start at a 50 cap, and then we'll hopefully up it to 200. And do come and join my Discord if you are interested in joining the Catskull Cartel. I can't give much more information than that, other than the name. Here we see ships sort of flying in a big fleet. Loads of Hurricanes there, one of my favourite ships anyway. Looks like a fairly sizable fleet. There's more than 10 ships there, which is cool. It means we're getting decent fleet sizes, not stripped down for mobile. Here you can see flying in formation with various different ships, all turning in formation, which looks like you can do kind of like a follow command, or where one ship leads the entire formation and everyone else just kind of follows suit, which is pretty cool. Some cool little flashy graphics going on here. I have looked, nothing much in the way of like ship reveals. Pretty much everything here is stuff we've seen, until we hit this thing. Now, this is one of the new YanJung ships. Now, the developers talk a lot about YanJung in this stream. They talk about how the ships are ultimately designed around Oriental weaponry. This is a Japanese polearm called a Ji. If you play games like Dynasty Warriors, that you may recognise it from there. I think actually it even appears in the Neo series of games. God, I need to go back and play those. But ultimately, it looks like a lot of these ships are based on various Oriental weapons. This being the Ji. I'm not confirming that's the name of the ship, just that the weapon it looks like it's based on is a Ji. And the developers mentioned that all the YanJung ships are based on Oriental weaponry. Obviously, the YanJung as a race do come from Eve's backstory. They're not fabricated. They've not just been randomly added. You know, this isn't something that the developers have just kind of pulled out of the air. They are an established race in the backstory. I do recommend, obviously, if you're interested in learning more about that, you check out Sovereign RPG. He talks a lot about the lore in Eve. He's done a really cool video about who the YanJung are. In terms of Eve Echoes, they are going to be a 5th playable race. So you're going to have Minmatar, Caldari, Galente, and Amar, along with the new YanJung, which are very Oriental in their theme. That's obviously being done to appease to the Chinese players. CCP are obviously looking to get a lot of Chinese and Eastern players into EVE Online. With EVE Echoes, mobile gaming is massive out in the Southeast Asia. Like Singapore, Malaysia, all that kind of thing, and they're clearly looking to bring people into their universe from that side. Great way to do it is to make a race that feels completely at home for them. Now, from what Sovereign tells us, we know that these guys are based on sort of like gravimetric sort of thing, so it looks like possibly E-warships. We get more into that later. They still haven't teased the date here, and you'll notice I'm not mentioning either because, yeah, I want you guys to watch the video. If you're going to be really that impatient, it's in the description down below, and it's at the end of the video as well, the actual release date. But otherwise, let's have a look and talk about some of these things. Now, here we see the corporation information that they're talking about here. Obviously, we know about the corporation headquarters being a thing. That's going to be a big station, obviously, outside whichever planet or moon you choose to base it around. The cool banners and that on the bottom left, I'm really excited with that. And on the right here, I can't properly zoom in, but you've got all the different position settings, which are kind of your permissions, you know, if you're officers who can do what. Which ranks within your corporation, which is really cool to see that that's been sort of included in there. You've got decent control levels. Then here we have, that is the bit where I was talking about Omega clones. Now, if you look at the one on the left-hand side, it here says 170 plex. And you can see that the skill training at the top there is 30 plus 5, so the 170 basic Omega clone, 170 plex basic Omega clone will give you 30 skill points as usual, plus 5, so a slight increase on your skill point training, but unlock all those other things we talked about. On the right hand side here, you can see that standard currently costs 420 plex, which then gives you 30 plus 25, so it almost doubles your skill training, which is huge. That's a huge increase. And then it has all of the other unlocks again. Now you can see here underneath industry is the smokestack of what appears to be another industry bit. So obviously that scrolls down further. We just haven't seen what that is. To me, that does worryingly imply that industry is locked beneath Plex. Now that does mean that you probably, if you're going to be interested in Plex, you're going to want to drop $4 or $5 on the game when it launches. Now to me, that's not a lot to ask. I know some people want to go completely free to play on this. Sorry, my phone screen went off. I have to remember to tap it every now and then. I know a lot of people want to go completely free to play, but I don't think a $5 investment to go into industry is all that bad. I know I'm going to get crucified for that in the comments. That's just my opinion. Considering how much you can get out of this game completely free, $4 or $5 isn't bad. And if you're doing industry well enough, well, you know what? You're going to be making a lot of ISK back, and being able to afford 120, 170 ISK, 170 plex there shouldn't be too difficult in fairness. Once you've got industry up and running, you should be able to keep yourself on a basic Omega account fairly easily. Obviously, you've got the more whaley standard Omega account on the right-hand side, which will be a great way to speed things up. We know as well they are not going to be selling ships. Ships will not be unlocked behind a paywall, which is fantastic. It is purely Omega and skins at this point. They don't talk about skill injectors. If you know what those are, then we don't know anything about them for EVE Echoes. If you don't know what they are, don't worry about it at this point in time. But to me, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this, and that pricing of sort of $4 or $5 for the basic and about $16 for the standard, that kind of ties in with other NetEase games, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Anyway, let's scroll on and see what else we find. Here we have the Outpost. We've talked about this at length in other videos, and this appears to be sort of a player... a base you can kind of drop wherever you like. I doubt it's going to be a full ITC, but it appears to be something where you can just drop off any ores or things like that if you're mining in your own area. They can be attacked in low sec and null sec. That has been confirmed. They can be attacked, which of course they can. It's Eve. Let's keep on going. Here we have some of the cool ship skins. Now, most of these we saw already in the trailer. The Vexor, and I can't remember the ship on the right here. But then we've got these. Oh, I love that Hurricane skin on the left-hand side. The Galente one, whose name, again, escapes me on the right. I want to say Abaddon. It's not Abaddon. That is, of course, a filthy Amar ship. It's the battleship. I can't remember what it's called. Someone's going to tell me in the comment section below. But those are cool looking skins, and they appear to be exclusive to EVE Echoes, which is going to be cool too. I do hope we get some of the EVE Online skins brought to Echoes, but it's nice to see that we have some of our own exclusive ones too, which I'm always very happy about. Let's keep scrolling past Melos. Here we have, they talk about tutorials. Now, obviously in EVE Echoes, the beta, the tutorials were very, very basic, which was fine for me. It meant that there was a big space for me to fill and teach you guys everything that I knew about the game and to go on that journey with you. They are confirming that they are adding advanced tutorials that will unlock additional ships and things for you as well. If you play EVE Online, this sounds very much like the career agent missions. If you don't play EVE Online, to explain, what they say here is that there will be different tutorials for things like mining or industry or PvP if you want to go and be a pirate, that kind of thing. And those will award you different things that will help you along the way. Now in EVE Online, if you start up the mining career agent and continue down that line, it'll teach you how to use mining and give you some basic starting equipment, like some basic mining lasers and stuff like that. As you go down, eventually it actually hands you a venture. You kind of go here, have a venture, off you go, happy mining. Looks like we're getting that in EVE Echoes as well. Does that take me away from making tutorials? No, it does not. I will still be doing my tutorial series. I will go back over every single video that I've done once the game launches, so I've got it with new footage and completely accurate information. Obviously, if you're new to this channel and just learning about EVE Echoes, do check out those tutorials. I can't believe they'll change all that much, so go back, have a look at some of the ones I made during the beta to give you an idea of what mining's like, what strip mining's like, what industry's like, and that kind of thing. Now they come to talking about the YanJung. Now, as I mentioned, the YanJung do appear in the lore already, and these were kind of the two images that they based it all off for EVE Echoes. So we've got kind of the birthing pod on the left and these gates on the right. Now, the YanJung are described as having better jump and warp technology than other races. This is a point we'll come back to later, so please do put a little pin mentally in that. That they do have better warp and jump capability than other races, but they are heavily inspired, according to the developers, and much to Sovereign's amusement and happiness, elation in fact, by the film The Fifth Element. That's the one with Bruce Willis, brilliant, over-the-top sci-fi space opera. If you're not familiar with it, go watch it, incredible film, and you can see kind of where the YanJung's kind of inspiration comes from, and that's pretty cool. I'm very excited by that. I know Sovereign was kind of doing mental backflips at the time, but they say here that, again, like there with the ship here, it's all based on Oriental weaponry. It's designed to bring in more Oriental players. Obviously, the developers themselves are Oriental. They want to bring in more of that into the game, into EVE's universe, and with CCP's blessing, they have sort of brought the YanJung back to life to do so. Now we have this exceptional little this trailer. There are bits of this trailer in the EVE Echoes beta that you may have seen. This trailer itself, what I'm actually going to do is cut the video here. I'm going to let this play out on its own so you guys can watch it. Then I'm going to go over it piece by piece as to some of the cool things that we see in it. So enjoy, and then we'll discuss it after.
Two things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe. The more often and steadily we reflect upon them. The starry heavens above me, and the moral law within me.
am YanJung.
How cool is that, right? Okay, so let's have a look at this piece by piece. So we start off here looking at a station as we go into this. This appears to be a Galente city. Really cool to get a bit of sort of planetary side view, or possibly station side view of the Galente Empire. Caldari, Black Rise here. Very typical Caldari, sort of that militaristic thing here. Minmatar in a war. I'm assuming this is part of like the rebellion. The Amar, of course, turn up. I'm just going to pause this quickly. When Sovereign, Doomsy and I were doing this sort of announcement of the stream, bless him. Bless him, I love Sovereign to pieces. Because he's an Amar-loving psychopath, I've now started, and he was having trouble with his webcam, he is now a fuzzy, out-of-focus, God-fearing, slave-abusing laser monkey. And that is how we will term him forevermore. So you see the Amar Empire here, obviously watching their ships. Big fight going on, or about to start at this point at least. Of course, Sovereign is laughing his head off at this point as we see a slasher, or some other type of Minmatar ship, whiz past here. In just a second. Wait for it. I love the fighter drones coming out here. Here it is, the slasher. And what's the first ship to get blown up? Yes, it's the Minmatar. Screw you, Sovereign, you God-fearing, slave-abusing laser monkey. But a really cool sort of cinematic here going on. We see I can't remember the name of this, Abaddon, Doomsday, it's in a Mars ship, I don't care, blowing up everything. And off the camera pans backwards. Some other ships come in. I shouldn't have scrubbed back there. Some other ships jump in just a second, which to me looks like the YanJung kind of manipulating things from the background. I'm not entirely certain, but we'll come to that in just a moment. I'm not going to touch the scrubber because it's going to be more effort than it's worth. Boom, off goes that huge laser. Kind of a planet cracker situation almost, which is pretty cool. I just love this cinematic. I love big spaceship fight scenes. I kind of wish more sci-fi films did those well. Star Wars is kind of, I don't know, they've not done that properly recently in my opinion, but there we go, that's just me. More controversial opinions after the break. Now we pull back here, the music changes to this lovely sort of Asian Oriental theme again, and this beast. Now this, if you look at these other ships that appear to uncloak around it, those to me look the size of sort of battleships or battle cruisers. As I look at the big ship here, I can't see any weaponry on that. I can't see any turrets, which means it's pretty big. That is a capital ship decloaking. We see the hologram of the woman here who is kind of, looks like she's influencing. I am YanJung, she says. We zoom in and we get the release date there, August 2020, mid-August 2020. Now, watch as you all close the video. You've got the information you came here for. There is more. There is generally more, but August 2020. Yes! Super happy about this. That's less than 3 months away. We saw that there was an article with CCP where they mentioned a soft launch rolling out over the summer. Now, with mid-August being the launch, that to me insinuates we could see a soft launch start as early as June. Maybe July, if not as late as the start of August. But heck, 3 months, that's going to go quick. And I am super excited about that. Less than 3 months to prepare, just getting ready. Along comes Hilmar, the CEO of CCP. He recorded a video from Iceland. Obviously, he can't really be there with the guys in China. And of course, he's a very busy guy, but he just basically talks about how excited he is about this, and I'm sure he is. I love the EVE Universe books in the background as well. I need to add more to my EVE library, and I really want that shirt that he's wearing. There are some brilliant comments in chat here that I feel kind of guilty repeating, but like, oh my god, a talking carrot, and Chuck Norris of gaming. Let's be honest, Hillman is awesome. CCP have done so well with this, NetEase have done so well, and they basically clarify that this, I think Doomsy put it perfect, I think it was Doomsy who said it in our stream, perfectly that these guys, it seems that NetEase and CCP are two different corporations working under the same alliance to achieve this exceptional goal of Eve Echoes, and it's super exciting. They do seem to be working very closely together. Everything is sort of spoken together and through. You know, it's all really, really good stuff, and I'm super psyched to see how this is all going. Again, I don't think there's anything else really to say here. I'm concerned about the industry, but we'll come to that. There are a couple of points that they mention in the talking that I don't have in the video. There's no decent footage for it. Sovereignty is a key one. Sovereignty will not be accessible at the start of the game. For those of you who don't know, sovereignty is that ability, if you've ever watched an EVE Online trailer where they talk about how you get to shape the fate of New Eden and different corporations can take over different zones. If you jump into EVE Online right now, there are certain sectors, especially in low and null sec, that are controlled not by, say, Minmatar or the Galente or whatever. They're controlled by different corporations, player-driven corporations. You will not be able to claim sectors of space immediately on the launch of the game, and that will give players a chance to sort of level up some skills, work together, figure out what they want to do, and then start claiming sovereignty over certain areas of space. To me, that is a great move. Any of you who played the recent Stellaris mobile game, that pretty much got screwed over by the fact that people could start claiming space originally on day one, so just the people who got big quickly now control pretty much the entire server. It's insane, and I'm super glad that EVE aren't doing that. So sovereignty is a big one there. We've talked about Omega, we've talked about the things that are locked behind it and costs, we've talked about the new YanJung, the player base. I don't think there's much else really to say. It was an amazing stream, and I'll put the link to the full stream in the description on this video below. I do recommend going and watching it. It was great just to get to know the guys. There were some really good little giggle times going on there, especially with Melos, bless him. Really great to see these guys actually in the flesh put a face to a name and to, you know, get to speak to them. Some really cool questions were asked, but that's kind of the crux of it. Eve Echoes is launching mid-August 2020. There are some super cool things going on and coming to it. I love the new YanJung. I'm really excited by those, especially the idea of cloaking capital. Sovereign mentions that actually, when we were talking in that stream, he mentioned that with the gravimetric technology, the fact that this ship seems to decloak, and the fact that the YanJung are supposed to be very good at, have better warp and jump technology than other races. It's possible that that ship we saw, the big battleship thing from the YanJung cinematic there, may actually even be a gate ship, like it opens gates at different places that allows a fleet to jump through. That's going to be awesome, and as a capital ship, that's really kind of scary. As for what kind of weapons the YanJung have, we don't know. My theory personally on that is that whereas, like, for example, the Minmatar, their ships specialise in explosive, with projectile turrets and missiles. The Galente specialise in hybrids and drones. The Caldaria hybrids and missiles. The Amar are lasers, that kind of thing. Here's hoping that as we see the YanJung come forth, they might actually just have ships that this ship is missiles, this ship is lasers, this ship is drones, this ship is, that kind of thing, where they have a slight spread of everything, but I imagine they're going to have a lot in the way of e-war and cloaking and that kind of technology. There's not much, as I said, to say about them in regards to the stream. Oh, here comes the trailer again. There's not much to say about them in regards to the stream and about what's actually happening with them. It's all purely speculation at this point in time, but I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions below as well. I do hope you've enjoyed this analysis. Obviously, it's going to be getting fairly long in the tooth now. My throat's beginning to hurt from talking so much, but god damn am I excited about this. I am super excited about this. Eve Echoes launching August 2020 with a possible, but not confirmed, possible rollout over the summer. Super excited to be getting back into New Eden with you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Otherwise, I'm going to put on that original trailer now as this video ends. If you're done here, you're done. If you want to watch that trailer, do so. Talk to you guys in the comments. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.